within the 9-day mourning period at St. Peter's Square. No date for the funeral has yet been set. And today is Earth Day, celebrating the birth of the environmental movement. Events worldwide aim to inspire sustainable living through recycling, reducing energy use, and saving water. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
When Clippers star Kawhi Leonard is healthy, there is no question that he's one of the premier players in the NBA. He proved it last night. Kawhi scored 11 of his season-high 39 points in the fourth quarter to spark the Clippers to a 105-102 win at Denver. The best-of-7 first-round series is now tied at a game apiece. The next two games are at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. Game 3 is Thursday night. A very important game for the Lakers tonight in their first-round series against Minnesota. The Lakers are down 0-1. Keep your eyes on the production of Rui Hachimura, Dorian Finney-Smith, Jared Vanderbilt, and Gabe Vincent. The four of them combined to make only 6 of 20 shots in Game 1 and had no free throw attempts. LeBron, Luka Doncic, and Austin Reeves are going to need a lot more help tonight to avoid going down 0-2. Tip-off time tonight is 7 on TNT. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
If you missed our KBLA Talk 1580 Town Hall, the Altadena Eden Fire, 100 Days and Counting, you missed an evening of reverence, reflection, and reality.
You gotta live in the reality because this is it. Every day, you wake up, is this my life? Don't stay in denial because yes, it is. Don't stay in bargaining where you're praying for a miracle and if it wouldn't have happened, then this is what I would have done. It did.
Our panel participants kept it real. Really real.
I think, number one, it's amazing to me how we ignore systemic racism in our community, and as a people, we've apologized for so much, but when will we stop apologizing for what we have paid for? Because the truth of the matter is we paid for this.
You can always count on KBLA Talk 1580 to give it to you straight, no chaser. When you love folk, you tell them the truth. Seeking the truth, speaking the truth. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we don't black down.
My friends feel it's their appointed duty. They keep trying to tell me all you want to do is use me. But my answer ain't all that use me stuff. I want to spread the news that if it feels it's good getting used, oh, you just keep on using me until you use me up.
Bill Withers, sounding as good as ever. I'm Tavis, Smiley, glad to have you with us. And this hour of our program, as promised, two conversations on the backside of this hour. Conversation with Grammy, yeah. I mean, once or twice? He'll tell me when he gets here. I think it's twice. Grammy-nominated poet, journalist, and filmmaker Kevin Powell on his new documentary, When We Free the World. Powerful documentary showing all the shades of manhood. We'll talk to Kevin Powell on the backside of this hour. We commenced this hour, though, in conversation about today's 55th annual celebration of Earth Day with Earth Day Network founder Kathleen Rogers. Kathleen, good to have you on. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Really, really happy to be here.
I'm delighted to have you on the program. Let me start with that. I mean, I was actually stunned last night. I do this every year and have done it for any number of years. And time flies, and I can't believe we rolled up on the 55th anniversary of Earth Day. Let's just, as best you can, frame that for me for starters, and I'll jump from there.
Okay, so I wasn't the founder. I wasn't around at the time. I'm the president now, but the founder was Gaylord Nelson, a senator from Wisconsin, and a young guy Dennis Hayes, who's still the emeritus chair of Earth Day. And about 150 years of industrial development had sort of trashed the joint, if you will. And our rivers were on fire. You couldn't see across the streets in LA during rush hour. A lot of birth defects and recognition that along with all that development came a lot of environmental and health problems. And so Gaylord Nelson came up with an idea to do a teach-in on college campuses to take advantage of the unrest on the campuses from the civil rights movement and the Vietnam War movement. But Dennis Hayes got together and they convinced each other to change the name, and it became Earth Day. And 20 million people, which was about 11% of the population, came out on the streets, stunned everybody, including Richard Nixon and Congress. And so they started passing laws, one right after the next. And now we're at our 55th anniversary. We're in 192 countries with about 1.5 billion people participating. And so it's become a movement, definitely more than a day, and weeks and months Earth Day events go on. So that's where we are in this sort of very troubled time, but it's still great to see, 1 billion people out there doing something for the planet. And so that's part of what we do. And then we work year round on plastics, climate change, climate education, and things like fast fashion, reforestation. So we work year round, but we're spending good 6-7 months a year getting Earth Day off the ground.
Yep. There are a couple of pieces that I read. I've read a lot of stuff preparing for this conversation, but there are two pieces that jump out at me, and I want to make note of them right quick. I read a piece, again, in preparation for our conversation, Kathleen Rogers, about the role of black folk, especially UAW workers, in making the first Earth Day a success. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yes. So as the story is told, and is correct, and kind of an amazing story, is that they didn't have any money to put Earth Day on. So the unions, UAW in particular, came through with enough money. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it was a lot back then, which was 25,000. I think it actually even grew to closer to 50, which allowed the organizers, a bunch of young kids, to use mimeograph machines. But Dennis Hayes, he went on to have an incredible career. He put solar on Jimmy Carter's White House, which then Reagan pulled off. But it was really UAW and some other unions and some, African-American leaders from around the country. They all joined in. And the history is pretty unique in that regard because it was really sort of a union of many, many different types of people that joined together to make that thing happen.
Yeah. Here you come mentioning the name of Ronald Reagan. I always say to our audience that if you pay attention all 3 hours, you'll see how the dots connect. I don't plan this way. It just happens. But it's always a thing of beauty when the dots connect. We were just talking in our first hour, and the name Ronald Reagan came up, and we were talking about all the damage that was done during the Reagan era, specifically to black people. And we were talking about whether or not black people in particular will suffer the same fate at the end of Trump 2.0. But Ronald Reagan's name came up in the first hour, and here comes Kathleen Rogers raising his name again in the telling of that story about how solar panels were put on the Jimmy Carter White House. Ronald Reagan shows up and takes the solar panels off. I mean, it's exactly. You can't. I don't have the time to really just unpack all the damage that was done.
You can't make this stuff up.
You can't make it up. You can't make it up. I mean, they literally just took the solar panels off the White House. You're saving energy, you're saving money. They took them off in the Reagan era. I digress on that for now. I just wanted to point out for those who were paying attention that here comes Ronald Reagan in hour 2. Hopefully he won't show up in hour 3, but I digress. When we come forward, more of our conversation on Earth Day with Earth Day Network founder, environmental attorney Kathleen Rogers, celebrating 55 years. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Hey, this is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, and for over 20 years, Parkside Economic Development Corporation has served Leimert Park and surrounding communities, empowering tomorrow's leaders and changing lives. Parkside EDC has awarded over $400,000 in college scholarships while sharing economic principles of the Big Five of money with students and their families. Parkside EDC partners with organizations like the Brotherhood Crusade to assure our youth have the financial acumen to succeed. Parkside EDC provides families and businesses with financial insights, offering free online, on-site, and on-air B-Warp presentations. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Programs helps our community acquire, sustain, and pass down legacy wealth. High school seniors can apply for this year's scholarship awards at parksideedc.org. Scholarships will be awarded at Parkside EDC's Gospel/Jazz Brunch on Sunday, April the 27th. For details, tickets, or donations, please visit parksideedc.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
I remember brushing my hair and looking down and thinking, oh my gosh, do I have any hair left?
I used to look at women with thick, beautiful hair and think, why doesn't my hair look like that?
My thinning hair is making me feel so old.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. With clinically proven ingredients like apple extract, biotin, and millet, Hair Volume nourishes your hair follicles to promote thicker, healthier-looking hair. Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair, and hello to thick, healthy hair with Hair Volume.
Since taking Hair Volume, the shedding has all but stopped.
Now, instead of being jealous of other women's hair, I have friends who are jealous of mine.
My hairdresser couldn't believe the difference in my hair. Now she's using Hair Volume too.
Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com, or find Hair Volume in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
He's a paradigm pioneer and the top-rated African-American talk show host in the nation, according to Talkers Magazine. You're tapped in with Tavis Smiley right now.
Tavis Smiley and Kathleen Rogers, who's president of Earth Day Network, as we celebrate the 55th anniversary of Earth Day. A couple of broad questions, Kathleen, and we'll narrow as we move through the time I have with you. 55 years in, are we moving in the right direction or are we U-turning? Kathleen, can you hear me? Is your mute button on?
No, my mute's not on.
Now
Sorry, I don't know what's going on.
I hear you now.
There we go.
I hear you now.
I'm in Rome, actually. I hope that's not the problem.
No, I'm jealous. Rome is a beautiful city. I know there are a lot of grieving people right now in Rome.
It's really bad in here. We had a lot of programs ready to go with the Vatican and with other people, but of course we canceled it out of respect for the Pope. But the city itself is very, very sad.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I've been seeing the pictures of people showing up in the square. And so to know that you were there on this particular day resonates with me, and I'm sure many others. I am not a Catholic, but many of our listeners I suspect are. And so it's got chill bumps just knowing that you're actually in Rome right about now. So I was asking a moment ago, 55 years in, whether or not we are headed in the right direction, or are you seeing evidence that we have made some U-turns?
Well, we're definitely making some U-turns. Is probably an understatement. Sort of a crash and burn on a daily basis. And we're all suffering, not just people who are wrapped up in the, solving the world's environmental and climate problems and environmental justice problems, which are near and dear to Earth Day's heart. Everybody's suffering. Even in Europe, it's people are quite shocked by what's going on and looking to me for answers, which I have none. But I do think Dennis Hayes, actually, the guy who started Earth Day, he wrote me a note yesterday and said, I am concerned about the arc of justice, that expression.
Sure.
And so it was funny that you're asking me, because we all wonder how soon we can get back to the real work that needs to be not just in the United States, but worldwide. So I think I am some people would say unrealistic, possibly even an over-the-top optimist, irrational optimist even.
Yeah.
But I do believe in human beings and their pursuit of the right thing. And ultimately, I think all the issues that are important to your listeners and to Earth Day and our big, big family of people, 1 billion people do Earth Day, we all share those values. And I do believe at the end of the day that those values will prevail and that necessity is the mother of invention. And so I also think that there are a lot of things happening that we can't see that will transform our lives. Solar, wind, hydro, all of these renewable energies. That train left the station, and the investments in that are going on, out of sight. But that gives me hope that we will see an end to fossil fuels and all of the damage that it's done to poor communities around the world. And I think that's my biggest hope and goal for the 55th anniversary of Earth Day.
You mentioned Dennis Hayes, the founder of Earth Day, who sent you a note yesterday making reference to the arc of the universe. That, of course, is a quote from Dr. King, that the arc of the
That is right. That is right.
The arc of the moral universe is long, but it always bends toward justice. The arc of the moral universe is long. It always bends toward justice. I've been asked a number of times over the course of my career. I wrote a book about Dr. King called Death of a King, and that was an instant New York Times bestseller. My favorite book of all the books I've ever written, I think. Love that book because I love Dr. King and regard him, as this audience knows, as the greatest American this country's ever produced. But that quote is resonant even today, but it's one of the things. There are a few things that I would quibble with Dr. King about, even as I regard him again as the greatest American ever produced, that we've ever produced. That quote is real, but it needs a little bit of tweaking. The arc of the moral universe is long, and King says it bends toward justice. My read is that you got to bend it. It don't just bend. It doesn't just bend on its own. You have to bend it toward justice. It doesn't just happen. And if Dr. King were here, I would quibble with him just about the end of that phraseology, that we got to bend it. It doesn't just bend. And particularly in a moment like this, where you're talking about Earth Day, 55 years later, and climate equity and climate resilience and climate justice. That arc doesn't just bend. We have to bend it. Which leads me to ask, and I referenced earlier that there were a number of pieces I read preparing for our conversation today. One piece that got my attention that I found fascinating, given the work that I have tried to do here in L.A. with our home station around climate justice, climate equity, and climate resilience. The piece was titled, "Yes, Earth Day is for Black Folk. Environmentalism should not exclude Black people." Yes, Earth Day is for Black folk. Environmentalism should not exclude Black people. And yet, for so long, Kathleen Rogers, Black people have been, or certainly have felt, excluded out of the environmental movement. What say you about that? Kathleen is in Rome, and we're having that issue again.
Yeah.
There you go. There
you hear
go.
me?
I hear you now.
Okay.
We're good. Did you hear my question?
Are you able to hear me now?
I hear you well. Did you hear my question?
Yes, I did. And
Yeah.
I think if you can hear me, you can just interrupt me if you can't.
No, I got you. We got you.
I 100% agree. When I came to Earth Day, the first thing I sort of did was look around the environmental movement at the demographics of it. This was, 20 years ago. And I changed the mission of Earth Day to diversifying, educating, and mobilizing the environmental movement, because I deeply believed that we could not succeed if we didn't represent all people.
Mhm.
And so it has been the lens that Earth Day has used, and our partners now. In fact, we just did a great project with NAACP and many, many Latino and other organizations that have worked with us around voter registration, cleaning. By the way, I worked on the LA River, trying to clean it up for many, many years. It's absolutely true that low-income communities, the African-American community, have suffered incredible harm as a result of development. I don't know if you know Reverend Lennox Yearwood.
Very well, yes.
Close friend of mine.
Yeah.
Our kids played ice hockey together, of all things. And we spent every Friday night talking about this. He's actually at an Earth Day event in New York, but we spend hours, it seems, a month talking about how we can reach, the places that we want to go, the goals that we've set for ourselves. And back to the ARC question, I think we got cut off for a second. You're absolutely right. It requires some bending. And it's certainly, I know on this show and the other people that I've worked with so long, for more than 20 years, around this issue, we have to bend and work harder because we're not making the progress that we need. The fact that we still have a place called Cancer Alley that has so many poor folks and incredible pollution still exists in the richest country in the world. It's appalling to think about it every day. But I don't care whether you're in LA, Philadelphia, DC, it's all the same story. So our lens is low income. Our lens is diversification of our movement. And it takes a lot of work, a lot of perseverance, a lot of setbacks. And it feels sometimes, a really difficult thing to do. But on the 55th anniversary, I think there are a couple things going on in my head. One is the progress that they made when they created it, but the barriers that are being assembled and erected right now are pretty astonishing. So I know lots of people, we've all gathered together to figure out our way over the top of them one way or another. But we do have to focus on environmental justice. It has to be first in our mind.
Yeah. As you were talking, I was thinking about this moment that we find ourselves in right now, Kathleen Rogers. And there's no doubt, there's no debate or doubt about the fact that Donald Trump he's just a bull in a china shop. And everything is being destroyed and upended in this particular moment. But I want to spend just a couple minutes here talking about your concerns about the blind eye that is being turned with regard to the environment right now. You have a president who is, in every way he can, turning, we used the phrase U-turn earlier, so U-turn, here's that word again, making U-turns, upending, as I said, bull in the china shop. And I'm curious as to what you think about this moment with regard to Trump 2.0 and the environment. Earth Day is not a priority for them. He has a Congress full of Republicans who don't believe the science. And so as we continue, every year to celebrate Earth Day, there is, to my mind at least, some concern about the damage that will be done to the environment, the greater damage that will be done over the next few years, given that this administration seems not to care about these issues.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing I don't understand really is that there is so much money to be made. If that's all you care about, so much money to be made in recreating society to be green. Whoever solves the problem of clean energy, wherever those kids are in school that are little entrepreneurs and inventors, and I hope they're from every part of the U.S. Climate education is critical to solving the problem because we can create a new generation of people who can invent and innovate their way out of this problem. I have a lot of faith in that. Directly on your question, my view is whether it's the oil companies or a politician, they can do what they want to drag their feet. They can do it. They can make us miserable. They can cause more deaths. They can try everything. But eventually, I think the people are going to be heard. The ones, you cannot escape climate change. I don't care how rich you are. You cannot escape the impact of plastics on our health and our well-being. And so again, dragging their feet, doing U-turns. And a lot of people we're all just heading to court. And I'm hoping, knock on wood, that whatever schemes, I don't care what level, at the state level, the federal level, the local level, whatever schemes they come up with to undo the progress of that first Earth Day and everything that was done incrementally since then, It's going to take a long time. And I don't think at the end of a couple of years, we may find ourselves in a more difficult situation. But again, it's the optimist in me. I think we're going to be able to dig ourselves out. It's going to take a lot of money and a lot of unity. And people have to wake up and feel it personally. One thing I know about humans, we love the status quo. We hate it when things change.
That's right.
I don't care what it is. And so when they start to see that status quo changing in their health, in their air quality, in their water quality, everybody's going to feel it. And, whether they'll see it and feel it in a couple of years, 4 years, I'm not sure, because a lot of it will be tied up in courts for a really long time. So again, I have faith, maybe, I don't know, irrationally, in the system, if you will, particularly around environmental issues. But that doesn't mean you're absolutely right that a lot of damage can't be done in the meantime. But we will get where we're going for a couple of reasons. One, the word environment means what surrounds you. And if what surrounds you starts to become bad, then you speak up. And then I look at all the disenfranchised people who are living through extraordinary pollution, walking to work without tree cover, unlike rich communities, cancer rates, asthma rates. They're extraordinary in communities of color and poor communities around the country. We have to join together in one unity and move away from that being okay, because it's not. And I think that's what moves all of our programs and Earth Day, is to engage as many people as we can in this movement. But it's tough. It's really tough because people really don't like change. And so I'm afraid it's going to take a little longer than we expected. And yes, we're in the middle of a massive U-turn, but the ship will right itself, I'm convinced, either through the court system or because we all work together one way or the other.
You used the word unity. In the 90 seconds I have left, I want to close with another word, agency, asking you to say a word about the agency that people do have. If everybody uses their agency, we can get to unity. So I think agency comes before unity. But just say very quickly a word about the agency that people have to actually do something on Earth Day and beyond.
Yeah, we use the expression stand up, speak up, show up. You take any one of those things and that gives you have agency to do that. And registering to vote is always my fallback, if nothing else. But if you look at our website today, we just converted it to those words because we need people, because they already have it. They just have to exercise it. I don't care whether you go to your city council or you march on Washington. You have the agency to do that. And if you care about the planet, if you care just about your community, reminding yourself that you do have that agency is critical. And then I think you're absolutely right. And I think I'm going to stick with what you said, because unity will follow that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Agency first, if we exercise it, and then we can all get on the same page in some form of a unity. We celebrate the visionary leader, Dennis Hayes, who 55 years ago had this idea, and here we are 55 years later, still celebrating Earth Day. The president these days of Earth Day Network is Kathleen Rogers, who joined us today from Rome, where they planned a number of events that had to be canceled because of the passing.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's good to have you on, Kathleen. All the best to you. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like freedom.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. 2 Delaware volunteer firefighters are charged with hate crimes for chasing a black colleague with a noose, sparking outrage. Civil rights groups are monitoring the case of 27-year-old Jay Droney and 23-year-old Jordan Hastings, who were fired by the Millville Fire Company. Pope Francis's funeral will be held this Saturday at St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, Italy. Pope Francis, the first Latin American pontiff, passed away on Monday at age 88 after a stroke. Public viewing starts on Wednesday. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer plans to call for a vote next week to reverse President Trump's 10% tariffs on imported goods, aiming to prevent Trump from issuing new tariffs using the same declaration. And an investigation is underway after an engine fire on a Delta jet at Orlando International Airport in Florida. The flight to Atlanta, Georgia was halted on the tarmac Monday, but all crew and passengers exited safely. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
When Clippers star Kawhi Leonard is healthy, there is no question that he's one of the premier players in the NBA. He proved it last night. Kawhi scored 11 of his season-high 39 points in the fourth quarter to spark the Clippers to a 105-102 win at Denver. The best-of-7 first-round series is now tied at a game apiece. The next two games are at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. Game 3 is Thursday night. A very important game for the Lakers tonight in their first-round series against Minnesota. The Lakers are down 0-1. Keep your eyes on the production of Rui Hachimura, Dorian Finney-Smith, Jared Vanderbilt, and Gabe Vincent. The four of them combined to make only 6 of 20 shots in Game 1 and had no free throw attempts. LeBron, Luka Doncic, and Austin Reeves are going to need a lot more help tonight to avoid going down 0-2. Tip-off time tonight is 7 on TNT. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the voice of reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
At Exquisite Family Mortuary, we know how overwhelming it can be planning a meaningful farewell for your loved one. Secure your peace of mind by calling Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. That's Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. From traditional funeral services to memorials to direct cremation, pre-needs, and more. Call Charlotte White at Exquisite Family Mortuary for Southern hospitality in Southern California. That's Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. Exquisite Family Mortuary is located nearby in Inglewood, California. Exquisite Family Mortuary, where your loved one becomes our loved one.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
Testing.
We're live from Chick-fil-A.
This is Grant.
And this is Laura.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that sweet bun.
And that chicken filet was perfectly crispy and soft at the same time.
And that Smokehouse Barbecue sauce, it's a lot of fun. And the brown sugar bacon definitely had a little bit more pizzazz. Also, the Mac, one of the all-time greats. Man, I'm getting hungry.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and a Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
We thank our guest in that last half hour for joining us from Rome to talk about Earth Day. Hard to believe, it's been 55 years since we started celebrating Earth Day, but we thank Kathleen Rogers, the president of Earth Day Network, for joining us on this special occasion. All right, well, conversation now, as promised, with Kevin Powell about his new documentary called When We Free the World. This documentary paints all the shades of black manhood. Before I jump to the conversation with Kevin Powell, here now the trailer for his documentary, When We Free the World.
It was a journey to move and trying to figure out, well, what does healthy manhood look like? And there's all these definitions about manhood. I had to question everything.
To ask that question, I have been asking since I was a little boy. What is a man?
Manhood is centered around your development as a human being.
Manhood is about a partnership between men.
There's power in building connections with other black men in the community.
I believe that mental health was really about going to see a therapist.
As black men, we don't talk about our pain.
Be strong. Be strong, young man. Be strong. But we never hear words like, heal, young man. Heal.
Just not having a father there made me realize I had to lean on other male figures.
I learned how to be a man by watching my father breathe.
When my father told me about manhood, he taught me through hip hop.
Our job as fathers, as men, is to break that cycle of sickness.
I've learned a lot from my dad as a young man, and he's always taught me to always have courage and be who I am.
I'm inspired by just hearing my kids call me dad.
The world will want to know about black boys my age is that we can do anything.
Hope is something that you have to fight for every day.
Oh yes, I hear my brother, the prolific hip-hop prophetic Kendrick Lamar saying, although life is messed up and jacked up, we gonna be all right. We gonna be all right.
Conversation right now with Grammy-nominated poet, filmmaker, and journalist Kevin Powell. Kevin, congrats on the doc, man. How are you, sir?
Brother Tavis, it's great to hear your voice as always. And can I just say, I just happened to be scrolling on threads, and much respect to your father. I didn't realize this is a year later since he passed, and that's exactly what our film is about, celebrating black manhood and all its different shades, like you said. So blessings to Mr. Smiley, Sr.
I appreciate that, man. It is interesting to have you on today talking about this film again on this particular anniversary. So all things work together as they should, and so I'm glad to have you on. Tell me about the documentary.
5 generations of black males, from teenagers to 90-somethings. We have 70 black male voices of the film. Worked on it for 6 years, Brother Tavis, through COVID, 2 terms now of what's happening in this country, as you know better than anyone. A lot of adversity, but we got it together. I wanted to create something that really spoke to black men. I did the Black Male Handbook years ago, and it's done really well. Actually, out of all the books I've done, that book has done tremendously well. It's been a blessing. But I've always been about the whole community, just like you. But I've always thought about, what do we need to do to empower brothers, where people like yourself and myself are not an anomaly, Brother Tavis, folks who are constantly there. But, how do we get brothers to show up in certain ways? Like the way you described your dad touched my heart. Even though I didn't grow up with a father, one of the things we were very clear about when making this film, we were not going to erase black fathers. We were going to honor black fathers in different ways, because there's so many incredible examples like that out there. One brother in the film says, I learned how to be a man just by watching my father breathe. And Brother Tavis, you've had a very eclectic journey in your life. We often get reduced down to a few things as if black men can't be whole human beings like other people. And so as we were doing our research to put the documentary together, I'm a huge sports fan. I'm a huge lover of all kinds of music and entertainment and pop culture. But I found that a lot of the documentaries with black males, either we were the victims of racism or we were athletes or we were entertainers. And I'm like, well, what about just who we are as people, beyond all the labels? Like, can we show who black men are as whole human beings? And I bet you got stories that you could tell about your dad, just like the brothers in the film talk about their dad. And we have young fathers who are in their 20s and 30s. We have older fathers, all of it's important, and I just needed to say that. That's what this film is about.
Yeah.
And it's been a labor of love. You know how it goes.
Oh yeah, no. Sometimes it takes a while to put out good content or to push it out. But I'm glad that you stuck with it and got it done. Let me ask you whether or not, with all these generations of black men you spoke to for this documentary, is there a particular through line that you picked up on?
Yes. The work that you've been doing since I met you way back in '96, I believe, when Tupac died, that black men have to talk. That has been a recurring theme because we deal with in the film, we deal with the history, we deal with definitions of manhood or fatherhood, but we also deal with mental health. We deal with suicide. We have brothers who are survivors of sexual violence when they were youth. I mean, it's like black men have to talk. We have to talk. We can't keep bottling stuff up. We got to talk about the things that are hurting us, that are challenging us. We have to be vulnerable. I've been following your posts, people like you about Sinners. I actually feel that Sinners is a film about black manhood in a lot of ways. Of course, there's powerful women in the film. There's a powerful community story. But that whole dynamic between the two brothers, I said in another interview, Brother Tavis, like, that's Cain and Abel to me. That's Tupac and Biggie to me. That's Martin and Malcolm. There's so many different ways I was looking at it because I just like, or Delroy Lindo's character as this elder and the things, the challenges that black men had to go through, even as older men, him being accused of vagrancy and how you could literally have your life turned around just by one accusation. We both know about that kind of stuff, how people can just say stuff and it affects us. And so I think about black men needing to talk, and also what I came away from this film with, brother, after all these years, is that black men deserve to feel safe just like everyone else. You know what I mean? We deserve to feel safe and to be heard in a certain kind of way and be able to express ourselves and to say, hey, I don't know everything, or I'm hurting, or, like we want black men to open up. There's a brother in the film named Steve Jackson whose son committed suicide. His son actually went to USC Film School with Ryan Coogler. They were classmates with him and Steve Capel, who directed Creed 2. Tariq, his son, committed suicide 5 years ago this September. Brilliant brother. Went to Morehouse undergrad, with USC with Ryan and Steve. And the last time I talked to him, Brother Tavis, because I knew this young man since he was a baby, literally, it was when Chadwick Boseman died. He texted me because I had read a piece about Chadwick passing, because none of us knew, a lot of us didn't know what Chadwick was going through. It really affected him. And then a month later, he took himself out, and we had no idea of the mental health challenges he had. So that's a big part of it, that, what do we need to do to be healthy as black men in spite of everything that's happening around us? That's what I think about more than ever. That comes from this film.
I love how you weave that together. I didn't think about it that way, but that's why he's Kevin Powell. I'm just Tavis Smiley, because he
oh my God.
he sees things that I don't see, and I love talking to Kevin because I'm always challenged by his commentary. It makes me again re-examine my own assumptions, expand my inventory of ideas, and see things through prisms that I knew not of. So I thank you for that, because I hadn't thought about it in that way. Let me just ask you right quick though before I move forward here. This black male suicide number sadly continues to climb. We find the data suggests to me, this incontrovertible data suggests to me, that young black men are committing suicide at a faster clip than anybody else. What's that about, Kevin Powell?
This society, I feel like, Tavis, and again, you've been doing this work for a long time, so you've seen it up close and personal. There was a promise that we got out of the civil rights movement because of the work of Dr. King, Faneuil Hamer, Ella Baker, and all those incredible sisters and brothers. And it made possible it created some possibilities for us. But what has hurt my heart over the last at least 10, 15 years is not just the level of suicides that we see around the country, but the number of homeless black males from California to New York and all points in between. The number, and it's younger and younger and younger. Remember when we were coming up, it would be older people who might be one person that was homeless, but now you see brothers in their 50s, 40s, 30s, and 20s who are literally homeless, many of them out there talking to themselves. I mean, I believe that this society unwittingly drives us mad, you know what I mean? And I also think it drives us to levels of depression that we don't talk about. I've said it on your show when I was there in person in LA before, like I've battled depression in my own life. There's a stigma to it. I thank God for therapy. I thank God for my spiritual practices. But it's like, we have to understand that this society wasn't created with us as black males or black women or black people in mind. And literally, it's a miracle that we exist as a people and the things that we've been able to do. It's a miracle that you have your radio station. It's a miracle that you have your career. It's a miracle what your father represented. But we also have to think about how do we take care of ourselves as we're constantly dealing with, You know what hurts my heart, Tavis, as a black man who went to college because of the civil rights movement, now with these attacks on DEI, is saying that we just going to erase your history, your culture, everything, and good luck to y'all, basically. Just good luck to y'all. How does that not drive you crazy? How does that not make you think there's no hope out there? And so what we need to represent, and then what we're trying to do with this film, the last chapter of the film is 9 chapters, Brother Tavis. The last chapter is actually called Hope, because we're not going to lay all this out to black males and not present some hope. We're not going to create a film that's going to traumatize and re-trigger brothers over and over again. We have to give examples of hope throughout the film. That's what we did our best to do. I
want to talk about hope when we come forward. I make a distinction all the time, Kevin Powell, between optimism and hope. This audience probably heard me talk about it before. I'll unpack that again for those who haven't heard my read of the difference between optimism and hope. We'll do that when we come forward. And I'm curious, as I'm sure many listeners are, as to why Kevin Powell decided to title this documentary about black manhood, When We Free the World. Why that title? You're listening, and I'm glad about it, to Kevin Powell right now on Tavis Smiley.
From Lamert Park with love, this is Tavis Smiley.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. Think about your mentors and idols, the people who inspire you the most. While it may look like they have all the answers, they don't. But they do know when to ask questions and seek the support they need. In a world that glorifies hyper-independence, it's easy to forget that we're all better with a support system. Therapy is a great way to find a consistent source of support in your life, so you can break free from the outdated belief that seeking help is a sign of weakness. BetterHelp has experienced therapists ready to help you with challenges ranging from anxiety and depression to relationships and stress. It's convenient, too. You can join a session with the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. You can even send your therapist a message anytime something comes up. Build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/ABCRadio today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ABCRadio.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Less monologue, more dialogue. Tavis Smiley continues right now.
Sorry about that. I'm Tavis Smiley. I was literally, it's funny, I'm going to tell on myself. So during that break, I was on a phone call with a guy named Sean Rector, who runs a wonderful program here in Southern California, in Long Beach specifically, for black men. And he has a big program coming up, and he reached out to me weeks ago and asked me if I knew someone. I spoke at this program last year. It's a wonderful program, a rites of passage program for young black males. And he was asking me a couple weeks ago, Kevin Powell, if I knew anybody that could speak to their group this year. And I literally, during that break, called him right quick and said, if you're not listening right now, and he was already listening anyway, I said, Kevin Powell is on my show right now.
Oh, wow.
I want you to listen to this. I want you to listen to this because I want you to get a copy of this film from Kevin, or have Kevin show up and screen this film for all the black males in your program. And I don't know Kevin's schedule. Wow. If he's in town, you should ask him to come speak to these boys. Anyway, I'll connect you and Sean when I get off the air. But if you heard me hanging up my phone, that's because I was getting off the phone with another black man who runs a program for young black males, who I know would be benefited by seeing this film and being connected to the great Kevin Powell. So I'll connect you and Sean Rector. This program is called Time, T-Y-M-E, but it's a beautiful and brilliant rites of passage program for young black males. I was their keynote speaker last year. Tons of black boys going through this program. And I've often, let me just pivot right quick here. I've often wondered how we might benefit in our community, Kevin Powell, if, like our Jewish brothers and sisters, we had more rites of passage programs for our black males and black females, for that matter.
That's right. That's right. I mean, first of all, Brother Tavis, thank you so much for that. And Brother Rector, I even want to invite them out, to the premiere on Friday there in LA. That's where we're doing this.
Yes.
And, when I say it took 6 years to put this all together, it's the film, absolutely, but it's also the way we shot the film. It's in different chapters. So it's a 2-hour film, but it could be 10 minutes, it could be 5 minutes. So we wanted to split it up in ways that is digestible for folks. And we'll certainly be sharing it with your radio station. Y'all can use it however you want to use it on the website and social media, et cetera.
Indeed.
But it's also a study guide curriculum for ages 10 to adults. There's going to be a multi-part podcast series. There's going to be a website that's coming that's full of information and resources for black males. Like, what do you read? What do we watch? What do we listen to? Brother Tavis, I mean, and with your eclectic multimedia background, you asked me why wouldn't we free the world? Well, black people are the spirit of this country. The black people have been the spirit of this world for a very long time. And if anything's ever going to move, it comes from us, be it Nelson Mandela in South Africa, be it us here in America. One reason why I love Sinners, because I feel that Sinners was actually not a movie about sinners, but it was actually about the spiritual power of black people and us grappling with who we are in the context of America. Because like I know, Brother Tavis, if we didn't have those black folks in Mississippi and Alabama, all over the South, shifting things, there was no civil rights movement, which ended up benefiting everybody because black folks socially engineered it. We spiritually engineered it. So that's why we decided on when we free the world, because if black men can come back to ourselves in the way that your father represented and so many black males represented before us, imagine what we could be in these times. Imagine that.
Now you know why he called it When We Free the World. When we come forward in our remaining moments with Kevin Powell, we'll talk about hope and optimism. You're listening to Kevin Powell on Tavis Smiley.
Helping to stretch your moral and political imagination. This is Tavis Smiley.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check you have your phone first, before the cab pulls away.
Hey, thanks, man. No, wait, my phone! Come back! It's my boarding pass, credit cards, phone numbers, my life! Come back!
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found BenefitsCheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. BenefitsCheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Barbecue season is back. Hey, it's Ellen.
And this is Sarah Beth.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that zesty barbecue sauce. I love that it was a little sweet, a little tangy, and with the mac and cheese,
I feel like I tasted the brown sugar bacon first. It was the absolute best combination. Pro tip, 3 sandwiches are always better than 1.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and our Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Kevin Powell. His new documentary is called When We Free the World. It premieres here in L.A. This Friday. Kevin was talking about how they tried to infuse as much hope in this documentary about black men and about black manhood as they could, so as not to engage in more trauma for black men. And I was making the point, said I would make the point very quickly, and I will now, about my read of optimism and hope. I am an eternal prisoner of hope, but I am not an optimist. Optimism suggests to me, Kevin, that there's a particular set of facts, circumstances, conditions, something you can see, feel, or touch that gives you reason to believe that things are going to get better. That's optimism, and that ain't where black folk reside. Hope, as the Bible says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You and I are both examples. We're living epistles of the fact that you can build a whole life on nothing but hope. You don't have to be optimistic. You ain't got to have facts and circumstances or conditions that convince you that things are going to get better. You just do what you do, born of hope. It's like Dr. King said, you walk up a dark stairwell. Not because you're optimistic, you know what I'm saying? But it is that hope that next step is going to be there for you. So I love the fact that you infused hope into this documentary. I got 2 minutes left. It's all yours.
I want people to come out on Friday, April 26th, 6 p.m. at James Bridges Theater there in L.A. Just go to our email, rsvp@whenwefreetheworld.com, rsvp@whenwefreetheworld.com. It'll confirm your attendance there, but you also get all the details back with the address, etc., about the premiere on Friday. It's for the community. It's free. All are welcome. It's accessible to the disabled community, all of that. And Brother Tavis, I just want to thank you for giving us the space. We really appreciate it. We couldn't have done this project and a project that's coming. I mean, here we are in the 100th birthday year of Malcolm X, the 30th anniversary of the Million Man March.
That's right.
So many different things that have happened this year that are happening this year. But you give me hope, Brother Tavis. I mean, just hearing you, I was about to scream out, preach, when you just said that, the difference between optimism and hope. Yeah. I appreciate you.
No, there's a difference to my mind. And black people, we don't live on Optimism Street. We live on Hope Boulevard. That's who we are.
Yes, sir.
Our entire tradition is all about hope. And again, you are an example, and I'm an example. Many people listening right now, we're all examples of the fact that you can, in fact, build a whole life on nothing but hope. And if our black boys and black men need anything these days, it is hope. And I'm so delighted that this new documentary from Kevin Powell called When We Free the World is full of hope as we talk about the plight of black men. Give the information one more time, Kevin, about this Friday.
Friday, April 25th. It's the day after my birthday. I'm celebrating my birthday this week.
Happy birthday,
it's free.
man. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. James Bridges Theater. And it's if you RSVP at whenwefreetheworld.com, RSVP at whenwefreetheworld.com. It'll confirm your attendance, but also give you all the details for the event. I would love to see the community of LA out there. I love y'all. I love your radio station. I appreciate all of y'all.
We appreciate you, man. And for those listening, of course, to this syndicated program around the country, tap into this documentary, When We Free the World. These are the kinds of things that we need to, in institutions, organizations, churches, etc., show these kinds of documentaries to black men and to black boys. And I know Kevin will make his stuff available to you if that's what you want to do. Kevin, congrats again on When We Free the World. Good to have you on, my friend. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless you. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.